Hey Taurus, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Six of Cups. The second card that we have out is Two of Pentacles. Okay, first thing that's coming to mind when I see Six of Cups and Two of Pentacles can be that let's say that away from your relationships, you have stuff that's going on in your life that's important to you, things that are priorities of yours. So you have that section of your life. And then the other section of your life is your connections, your relationships, like friends, family, that type of stuff. It feels like there's a balance between those things right now. So stuff that's important to you sort of separately from that, things that you're prioritizing, and then the connections and relationships and that stuff, and trying to make sure maybe that you're spending time and energy doing all of the things that are important to you. But now can be a time where maybe more people are reaching out to you, or maybe there are more family obligations. It feels like that stuff is sort of coming up and saying, hey, you need to throw me in the mix too, and it may be more than what is usual for you. Some of you also can have the return of someone coming around, and they can be helping you handle everything that you have going on. This can be family coming around or somebody from your past coming through to help you out because you have a lot of stuff happening. Balance. Or you can be helping. Trying to show up how you want to without getting sucked in a way that you don't want to. It feels like that is the challenge here. Because there can be stuff that you've deliberately sort of broken away from or separated yourself from. And now you can almost feel like you have to go back into something and show up here. Maybe this is also about figuring out how much to... Because we have the Page of Pentacles here, I feel like someone is coming through and helping you, or you are helping someone. And this can be like family that you're helping, or like a friend that you're helping. It's somebody that you know. It's not a random person, or it's not somebody new. This is somebody that you have like prior connections with. And you can be trying to figure out like, how do I go through the emotions that I'm experiencing, all the stuff that this brings up for me, while still also being helpful. And also too, maybe you feel like you're sort of, I'm seeing Page of Pentacles go towards the Devil, and this can almost feel like you're something that you've previously broken out of or broken away from or broken the chain off of. You may have to go right back into or right into that exact situation to be helpful, while maybe trying not to become bound to that. This feels like something that you're no longer tied up in anymore. But if this is your energy that's being helpful, you can be figuring out, like, how do I show up here and sort of help this out while not getting sucked into it? So this can be about trying to remain sort of like to be in this situation, but not of it. And you can be trying to figure out like how much to give or how much to do here and not get totally absorbed in this to the point where you feel like you lose yourself to it. That's the challenge. Doing this in a way where you're not overdoing it, not underdoing it, because we can have both of the same here when we have the Devil. It's more so like there's a way that you can show up, or that somebody can show up with you, where there can be a I'm actually showing up and being helpful both for myself and for those that I care about or this person. And also too, how do I not, with the devil it can be like I get sucked in and then I overgive and then I lose myself to this. And then I feel like I'm not maintaining my independence anymore, that I'm not doing my thing or the stuff that's important to me anymore. And this is already something that I feel like you've previously, like already before you go into this, it feels like you're already like handling your stuff on your own. Now it feels like something has come calling and it's saying like, hey, can you help me out? Or you can be the one. It's going to be helping on one hand or the other. Like either you're accepting help from someone or you are helping someone. So there's going to be like a giving and a taking essentially that's happening here. With the devil, this feels like, how do you show up and actually be helpful in a way that is not taking away from you, where you're like, this is not helpful for me, this is actually not productive for me, or this is actually damaging to me in some way. And you know too that if something is damaging to you, it will also be damaging to whatever you're entering into as well. If something is good for you, this will also be good for whatever you're entering into. And so how do you maintain that balance when you're going into a situation that actually feels very imbalanced? Because with the devil there, this feels like not your own thing, but something that you're entering into. Like, I'm not seeing you be connected with this, but I'm seeing you go towards it to say, hey, I can help out here. But how do you go there and not get sucked into this? It's kind of like if you see this as being a magnet and you have some compatible magnets in there, you know, you sort of have to keep your distance a little bit. Like, how can you go in there and do your thing and then not get sucked into this? How do you then like go and do your thing and then go back out? So you don't become lost in the like black hole of this, and that actually being the thing going on in the reading here. Because this feels like you're like sentimentally connected to this, or like emotionally connected with this. Like there's stuff from the past that this brings up. Seeing justice wanting to come out, balance, moderation. The devil and 9 of Wands and 7 of Swords. I think the hardest thing is like brutal self-honesty. Knowing that this is something that you are capable of doing if that's the direction you're going to venture in, but you're going to have massive self-control and self-awareness, and again brutal self-honesty to do this in a way where you don't get sucked into it, where you can like sort of keep yourself intact, go in there and then go about your business. Because this is something that it feels like the way that this can psychologically get you in there and connected to it, like plugged into it, and then want to like keep you in there. The only thing that will help you once you're ready to exit whatever that is you have to be totally clear with yourself. You have to be totally you just need to be seeing clearly. You need to see yourself clearly. You need to see the situation clearly. Because when we have the devil, 9 of Wands, 7 of Swords, this is something where like confusion, subtle manipulation, psychological stuff, it can get you really involved in that, and then you can't pull away from, well, I mean, you can, but it takes like a lot to dismantle that and extricate yourself from it. So like, is it possible for you to venture into this territory and then be able to exit at will, rather than going in there and then you're stuck in there and then you can't get out? And then that's no help to anybody. You just are adding to the mass of that. And the intention in the beginning is definitely to go in there and to be helpful to it. The thing is, it feels like before going in there, needing to figure out with yourself, like, is it possible, or is it just going to end with this making matters worse? Because then are you going to be sucked into that and then contributing to that, gaining force? So you like become a part of that too, whatever that is. That right now over here, I'm not seeing you be part of that. But it really does feel like something that you sort of have to fight your way out of. Like, it's like you enter into there and then you sort of get caught up in that, and then you have to climb your way out of it, which is this is so intense to try to get out of there. And then having that Seven of Swords is like all of the mental stuff, all of the like psychological stuff that can attempt to like bring you back into it. When you're like fighting for your life to get out of this thing, this is all the stuff that will bring you back in. And this is mental stuff. This is psychological stuff that will bring you back in and like knock you down. So it's not like there being a physical hand pushing you back into the black hole of this. This is more like psychological, energetic stuff that can push you back down. So there needs to be that like self-honesty, there needs to be that truth, there needs to be that seeing clearly, thinking clearly, so then this doesn't hold the power, because light is something that will diminish this. This comes from a place of confusion. This is shadow energy. So this does not thrive off of truth. This will be the opposite of truth. But if you believe it, that will be the thing, like the sinking ship here. So this is something where you really have to be standing in truth to be able to make your way out of that. Old feelings coming back up. For some of you too, I wonder if this is just somebody from your past that's coming back up, that you can feel like you sunk back into a pattern and now you're trying to get out of it. You can feel like you're struggling a bit, and you can also feel like psychologically in a place where this feels extremely challenging. I wonder too if this is like the difference between the nostalgia of how you want things to be versus, it's like the nostalgia of stuff and the sweetness of stuff is a lens that goes over, and then you're not seeing things totally clearly, totally accurately. It's like when there's an addiction to something, and we do attempt to get out of that, to break the cycle, like all of that psychological stuff that can make it really difficult and sort of bring you back. It's kind of like, you can see this as like the minion of whatever this is, like whatever you are perceiving getting from this or how it's benefiting you, even though you can say like, I know that this isn't good for me, so I'm doing my best to get out of this. I don't want to be in this cycle anymore. I don't want to be in this pattern anymore. But this kind of comes from over here. It's like the like invisible hand that links this and tries to like pull you back in. If you need help, ask for it. Page of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, but you can also feel like you need support and you don't have it. Maybe there's going to be a getting support for this. Because clearly with Nine of Wands, it shows like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't want to be in here anymore. I don't want to be doing this anymore. I want to break out of this cycle now. I want to be like clean from this, free from this. I want to cleanse. But that Seven of Swords can be like all of the stuff that's sort of trying to like reinforce you, knock you back in. It's like climbing out of something, and then the Seven of Swords like disheartening you to like let go and fall back in, and then you're gonna have to make the climb again. When Nine of Wands feels like you're very close to being out of this, but that means Seven of Swords can get more intense to sort of talk you back down and to fall back into this. I do feel like a lack of support or something, or you can feel like something isn't helping maybe. Needing to figure this out. This feels like a mental thing that needs to be figured out. Like logic is going to help you work through this. So anything that's going to help you think clearly is going to help you work this out. Because it feels like with Two of Swords and King of Swords, this can be speaking to anybody that will speak the truth to you, speaking the truth to yourself. Anything that's going to help you think clearly, see clearly, understand, problem solve. Ooh, a relationship, lovers. I just like get this feeling of somebody coming through and wanting you, and there can be a feeling about this and being involved in this and knowing that it's not good for you to be involved, but there can be a lot of stuff that's being piled onto this to like try to convince you to be involved in this. Because even with the Devil and Nine of Wands feels like you're basically out of this cycle, but this can be like the return of an energy, or even like a person coming back through and being like, don't leave the cycle. Don't you want to come back into the cycle with me? When you know that it's something that's like not good for you to be involved in, you can feel like as much as you can try to convince yourself that it really isn't actually the answer for you and that it's not the best thing for you, but this energy feels really heavy-handed the way that it's coming through. And I feel like it's trying to appeal to you in a way where maybe it's like, feel bad for me, and trying to get you to come back into the cycle. Because that's kind of how I see, like with Seven of Swords, Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles, I kind of get this feeling of this energy trying to appeal to your sense of nostalgia or like sadness, or something presenting itself as like a victim of some sort to say like, I'm helpless and I need you, like that type of thing, to get you to come back in to this type of cycle. And the thing that's going to help you is, I think, like more of a bipartisan energy. Like having King of Swords here is about seeing clearly and thinking clearly, and from a place of logic and from a rational place. So there's the, like, let me really think about this in an intellectual type of way, so I can make sure that I'm seeing the patterns and seeing what's going on without my emotions clouding things. Because when we have, with the energy of Taurus, there can really be this like, I want to show up and I want to be a rock, or I want to be stable, or I want to be able to be relied upon or seen as like value and valued and valuable for what I have to offer. And this can be playing on that. Like the energy coming through and saying, I need you for these things. And that part of your ego saying, yep, that's how I want to be recognized. But then you get sucked into something. And you can see it as not being the best place for you to be in, or not being the best place, the best stuff for you to get involved in. And even though you're going into it in a way where you can be like, I'm just trying to be as helpful as possible, are you actually being helpful at the end of the day? Or is this just something that this is making matters worse, actually? Is it something that you go into with good intentions, but then it like allows this energy to surge again, and you're actually just keeping it going? You're allowing it to, this cycle to continue. Because I really get, like, this Page of Pentacles looks so, it's such like an innocent, like I'm coming through with the most genuine, pure intentions of like trying to be helpful, but then doing it, trying to serve that to the devil. Like the devil will just take advantage of that. It will just like take you for all your worth. Like doesn't care how genuine you are, doesn't care like what a pure energy. It will like totally take that, absorb it, and then sort of use it as a catalyst to promote its own growth of that energy. And then where do you go within all of that? It's like you get lost to it, and then you become like a victim to the energy as well. When I wonder too if this is something that you feel like when you're thinking logically, like maybe this is actually something that you need to keep your distance from a little bit. Until you can get into a spot where you feel like this is something that you're able to have more of a sense of control over. Because it feels like the devil is always going to appeal to certain things within us that if there's like an identification with those things, it can be really hard to pull yourself out of the cycle. Because the devil can make promises to you like, you want this, you want that, I'll give that to you. And then even though it doesn't, there's still that temptation to go into the cycle, because it's like still believing the lie of the devil. And that's how the energy sort of seduces that. Even if it's saying like, help me, and then you'll feel worthy, or you'll feel like you're enough, or you'll feel like you have self-worth or value. And then it's like, help me more, help me more, help me more. And then when you can't help anymore because you don't have any energy left, it's like, oh, good for nothing, and like throws you away. And you still never got that need met of feeling value and feeling like you offered something. So know that it can be in these really psychological ways. And that's why it can keep you back in there. Like, hey, you didn't help me enough yet. Like, I didn't get what I needed yet. And it's like, it's never enough. You'll never get that. You will never be told you did a good job, or thank you for showing up, or whatever, because that's not what the cycle is about. That's not a place where you get your needs met, not with the devil being involved. It's something that would just like wring you dry, and you don't have anything. And then you keep trying to go back and go back and go back, and it still won't give you what you need. And that's why it can be endless that we get sucked in there. Because if you're going in thinking, I'm going to get my needs met in some way, or I'm going to get something that I need from this in some way, and you never do, that's why you go again and again and again until you look at that and say, this is actually about boundaries. That's what this is about. This is about being honest with myself and seeing past the illusion of this. And that's when you find the key. And that's when you can really separate yourself. But until there's that honesty, absolutely, totally, clearly, with yourself, and in a place where you're trusting yourself and trusting your judgment and zooming out and seeing the pattern here. Until that point, this is something that can catch you again and again. I think really until you put your foot down. Because I'm even seeing, for those of you that this is a person, I'm seeing somebody come through that will be like, having Seven of Swords and having Five of Cups can be, I'm saying that I have regrets and that I'm saying sorry and I should have never done that, but from a place of it not being genuine about the feeling, but coming from a place of, I believe that this is how I can get you to get back into the cycle with me. And will play on that sense of nostalgia within you. And that you have to be using your discernment to really see this, that it's a game. That this is not coming from a genuine place. And that this can really feed off of that and will get you involved again and again and again and again. And just like that, you find the answer. You find what was lost. You find that key piece of what you needed in order to see this clearly. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.